Tonight on The Roast, Tony Abbott's sister affects his stance on same-sex marriage and another ex-sportsperson enters the race for Parliament. But first, for an update on what happened on the campaign trail over the past 24 hours, including the first verbal gaffe, let's cross to Mark Humphries.
In the words of that guy who used to play Kramer, I really wish I hadn't said that. The media is up in arms over a verbal gaffe by federal opposition leader Tony Abbott at a Liberal Party event in Melbourne yesterday. And what is the headline-making gaffe?
No one, however smart, however well-educated, however experienced, is the suppository of all wisdom.
Cancel the election! The mainstream media jumped on the gaffe with some incisive journalism, most notably some shit puns. The Guardian in Australia wrote, suppository gaffe makes Tony Abbott the butt of the world's jokes. The Independent in the United Kingdom wrote, Tony Abbott hits bum note. And the Sydney Morning Herald legitimised their paywall with, Abbott gives supporters bum steer. God help you if you clicked on that as one of your free articles this month. Prime Minister Kevin Rudd has reaffirmed his support of same-sex marriage with the release of this video.
I will support marriage equality legislation within the first 100 days of the Parliament.
Make it 70, so it looks like Kevin Rudd's going to rally his troops to do the right thing.
They won't force anyone on this issue.
All right, forget it.
We would, of course, on our side of politics, allow a full conscience vote.
So vote Labor on the off chance they have a conscience. And Rudd continued his commitment to a new way by ending his video with the slogan, It's time. So if you think it's time, make sure you head to the polling booth on September 7 and vote for Gough Whitlam. Meanwhile, News Limited have maintained their standard of journalism by publishing a photo of Kevin Rudd's younger son, Marcus, smoking. The scandalous photo of an adult legally smoking a cigar next to what I'm assuming are the genitals of Japanese porn stars was taken from Marcus's personal Facebook page. In the article, a spokesperson from anti-smoking group Action on Smoking and Health said, it is not a good message to be sending to young people. He's right. A photo on a personal Facebook page doesn't send out a good message to young people. Good thing no one published it in a newspaper. The newspaper article goes on to report another image shows Marcus goofing for the camera, prompting one friend to post, Marcus, you are getting your Charlie Manson on. So make sure you don't vote Kevin Rudd because his son will murder you. And if one shit debate wasn't enough this week, Anthony Albanese and Malcolm Turnbull took to Lateline yesterday to argue the case for their respective broadband networks. Albanese's approach was simple.
You do it with fibre.
Sure beats a suppository. Albanese espoused the benefits of Labor's broadband network, saying,
What that will ensure is that you have download speeds of 100 megabits per second.
You sure about that?
It's 1,000 megabits, not 100 as Malcolm suggested that we
just said 100.
You said 100, sorry.
Well, it's 1,000 megabits per second.
Don't try putting it on Malcolm. At least when Abbott says suppository, he doesn't blame Rudd. And Albo couldn't resist turning Rudd's note-reading scandal onto the coalition.
Address
That looks like notes, Mal.
let me address.
All right, Albo, don't be a dick. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thanks, Mark. Next up, in an interview with Triple J last night, Christine Foster of Being Tony Abbott's lesbian sister fame said her brother felt conflicted about his opposition to same-sex marriage and that she remains hopeful he will one day change his mind, saying,
almost every time it comes up with him, you see slight, very small shifts.
very small. If he continues shifting at this rate, he'll be pro-same-sex marriage by 2077. So don't worry, future gays, zombie Tony Abbott will have your back. Speaking in Melbourne on Monday, Mr Abbott said instead of same-sex marriage, his main focus was bread and butter issues, to get cost of living pressures down, to get jobs security up, to build the infrastructure of the 21st century. Wow, the 21st century. It's like a vision of today, And looking forward, Mr Abbott said he did not expect much enthusiasm regarding same-sex marriage, referring of course not to the 2/3 of Australians who support same-sex marriage, but the bunch of conservative married men within his party who don't. Either way, it's good to know Tony Abbott favours the decision-making process of my friends clapped when I said it.
All right, policies for this election. First item, same-sex marriage. All right, well, what about company tax, cutting it?
Company tax. Company tax. Company tax. Company tax.
All right, company tax it is. It's what the people want.
It's just like the West Wing. So if Tony Abbott is anything to go by, politics is increasingly becoming a family affair. And for more on that, we're joined by Jazz Twemlow. Jazz.
Really? Please. Tom, I'm in the middle of a wonderful meal at Tony Abbott's house. Delicious. And I've just been learning that Tony's new stance on gay marriage for the Liberal Party caucus is that the door is open to the debate. That probably wasn't the case 5 years ago.
Right, that is quite a shift for Tony Abbott, isn't it?
Yes, and just in time for an election. Talk about lucky timing. Anyway, excuse me, everyone, I've just got to go to the restroom. Stupid, I've taken a wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah, well, Jazz, could you just hurry up and get back to the dinner table with the...
Oh my God, Tom, I've discovered something terrible.
What, Jazz? What is it?
It's rows upon rows of bodies, frozen somehow, and each tank is labelled with some sort of policy. Wait, that's genius.
Genius? What do you mean?
Well, when he was accused of misogyny, Abbott wheeled out his wife. When he's debating same-sex marriage, he just mentions his gay sister. And with this human policy farm,
he can deflect any criticism that's aimed at him just by wheeling out a corresponding relative.
Yeah, God, some of them are in various states of reanimation.
Yes, for the election.
Oh my God, so Abbott can pretend he's opening up to consideration on a variety of issues, and then, once he's in power, they'll go back into a terrifying, dreamless sleep. Oh God, one of them just moved.
Jazz, you know what you need to do.
Yep, I'm sorry, frozen people in a weird Abbott cave.
He will be missed, at least until tomorrow, because that's how this show works. Finally tonight, former Australian cricketer Nathan Bracken has announced he'll run for the New South Wales Central Coast seat of Dobell in the September 7 election. The former one-day international star and current grown-up member of Hanson began yesterday by saying, "I've always been interested in politics." By lunchtime was saying, "It's something I think we've all sort of looked at," which in the afternoon became...
Did you ever imagine when you were playing cricket that you might get to this stage, you might put up your hand for politics?
Straight out, no.
Nope, never gave it a moment's thought. But he's in it now because, as he said...
I guess it got to the point where I didn't want to be the person that sits in the cafe saying, "Oh, geez, I really wish I'd done this."
Yeah, because no one wants to be that guy.
Raisin toast? Yep, that was me. Thanks.
Geez, I wish I'd ordered that. Geez, I wish I'd gone to federal politics too.
And now that he's in, he's vowed to use the same approach in politics as he did on the sporting field, explaining, "When I was playing, I used to want to know what I was coming up against, what was out there, and what needed to be done. And the answers to those questions were the opposition and grass, and beating the opposition." But this time, that opposition is former Labor MP Craig Thomson. And for more on that, I'm joined by Clark Richards. Clark, should Craig Thomson be worried?
No, Tom, he denies all allegations and will fight the charges.
No, sorry, worried about Nathan Bracken.
Oh, the swing bowler with the beautiful hair.
Magnificent hair.
Stunning hair. No, Tom, Craig's not worried. You see, the people of the Central Coast have a choice. They can either vote for a young, athletic sportsman with resplendent golden locks and no history in politics, or go with an embattled ex-Labor former unionist who denies all allegations and will fight the charges.
Of course, there is also Labor's Emma McBride or Liberal MP Karen McNamara.
I've never heard of them. You vote for someone whose name you recognise, like a popular cricketer or a famous lawsuit. It's all about branding.
Well, that may explain why Bracken's campaign is going to be bankrolled by former advertising mogul John Singleton, a master of branding, who yesterday said of the Central Coast, "Our population lives in a depressing present and is faced with a limited future. Think we just found your new motto, Central Coast. How could you not want to visit?" So for more on Bracken's backer, let's turn to Nick Richardson.
He created the Qantas choir advertisements, he once shouted everyone at the Rosehill Racecourse drinks, and he owned half of the Matty John show. But now John Singo Singleton is ready for a new challenge, electing this cricketer and this soccer coach to Australian Parliament. It's been a while since Singo's last foray into Australian politics, all the way back in the 1970s when he failed to win a single seat with his new party, the Workers' Party. A failure some attribute to the fact that the Labor Party is the Workers' Party and that this Workers' Party was owned by millionaire businessmen. But Singo's learnt from that mistake, which is why this election, his two candidates are running as independents. Independent in that they represent the views of only one power-hungry sugar daddy. So why is Singleton entering this election now? Well, according to him, he's funding the campaign because he feels like he should. Because he can afford it and because it can do no harm. So come election time, vote for John Singleton, who on the ballot will appear as Nathan Bracken, because he won't harm you.
Good to see he's running on a platform of not making things worse. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us, especially our Central Coast viewers. You are living in a depressing present and are faced with a limited future. Good night.